trying to force it on people. That is recipes. This is a recipe for continuous confusion and underdevelopment. So he said a lot, bro. He said a lot. He said everything that we've been saying all along. So the guy asked him again. I think he asked him again on the 30th of May. You know, the Sokoto, what do you call it?
Sokoto Declaration.
Yeah. He also emphasized the fact that that what happened to Biafran, arguably the worst genocide, arguably the most egregious slaughter ever happened in the history of mankind. Over 300 million, over 3 million, sorry, over 3 million children, we fully starved to death, you know, and nobody want to talk about it. It's all about just sweep it under the carpet and just move on. And how do you even move on when you are not making amends? Not just that you are not acknowledging it, but you are even making it worse. You don't. So it just, bro, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. So he's on our side. He's on our side because anyhow you look at the problem of the country and the solution, the problem and the solution, anyhow you look at it, at the end, when all is said and done, you arrive to the point where we have been for a long time.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter the angle you come. It doesn't matter if it's restructuring. It doesn't matter if it's regionalism. It doesn't matter. Whatever you call it, at the end of the day, you will come to where we are. And that is that. You tell me, for example, how is anybody on earth, be a president or incoming one, whatever, whoever, in that country, as far as we know, in Nigeria, what kind of magic? How are you going to? How do you? These people now, these Islamists that has taken over almost all the region. So, what is that magic wine that you're going to use to make them suddenly just repent, change their mind and say, oh no, we're no longer Islamists, we are no longer pushing for Sharia, we're no longer pushing to emasculate and just lay their arms and become peaceful citizens. Did anybody think that is ever going to be possible on the earth? The answer is no. Never, never, never. You see what I mean? So then, if you cannot do that, what then can you do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So then the simple solution is, he said it. These things I'm telling you, bro, he said it. Oh, it's not like, of course, this is something we've been saying all along, but he was just saying it. That the solution is let them go and have their own Sharia country. You know? Bro, you need to see this clip.
What channel was that? Do you remember the name of the channel?
I just saw it on YouTube, but maybe I can Google it. And if I find it, I will send it to you. Makano was saying this thing. The guy was asking him this question. I was giving him answers. That the solution is let them go and have their Sharia country and leave the rest of the people who are not into it alone. Jesus Christ, bro. So we must embrace him because he's a man of truth. And anyhow, we'll be able to reach him to let him know that we acknowledge his truthfulness. Not because he's saying anything, whatever. No, but just because he's remained steadfast with truth. So that alone deserves commendation. That's my point. So yeah, that is the situation, my brother. The today started first Biafra memorandum. So is there any activities going on today or later tonight?
I think it's gonna be later tonight. We are waiting. The only activities that we are waiting for is that Sokoto Declaration. I guess they're going to be holding it. You know, time difference. United States. The United States now should be night. It should be night. So I guess it's going to be maybe within Biafran time, that kind of evening or so.
All right. Okay.
Evening time. So
Yeah,
because of time difference, I believe they are going to have that declaration within the evening time because of difference in time. People in the
yeah.
US should be sleeping by now. So
Okay,
I
good.
think Arnold is going to be there with the lawyers to read out that declaration. So it's something that's going to take place within the evening hours.
Yeah,
And
he
we'll be
said that.
yeah.
Mm.
We'll
Yeah,
be,
he said he
we'll be
will be
following
there.
up.
Yeah, he said we'll be there. Yeah, wherever you are, wherever as a Biafran, in whatever capacity, just is the universe hears us when we cry, so we must continue to confess it and proclaim our freedom. So everything will be fulfilled. So we must
Yes.
continue. So yeah, that is the situation, my brother. Thank you so much, brother.
You're welcome, my brother. Thank you so much. When you are speaking about Nigeria issue and what Arnold is saying, that is why sometimes some of our people they get so emotional that they lose the main point. That's why sometimes you don't work with emotion alone. You don't just
Yeah,
focus on emotions. Emotion
yeah,
alone cannot get you what you want. While you are
yeah,
being emotional, you should also keep your senses with you.
yeah,
You see, some of us we are too quick to attack people simply because they are not speaking the language you want them to speak, or maybe because they are not aligning, calling your name as far they are standing with you and are promoting you as a person.
yeah,
Then you forget the purpose for which we are all gathering and doing what we are doing. You see, and that emotion will make you to begin to do certain things. Because, initially, you remember when we were in program here, when we talked about this issue of Arnold, that was the day we discussed it and his line of thought and the advice he gave. He started from giving advice to Biafrans.
yeah,
And when he gave that advice, many people got it wrong.
yeah,
That is why sometimes many among us, when you say something, they see it as an attack.
yeah,
Everything is not an attack. Sometimes there has to be critical criticism.
yeah,
Tough one that have to push you to do something. When you see those hard critics when they come, don't just take it for hatred. Don't take it for hatred. When somebody says something and you see that, go back and think towards that and see how you're going to make amends. Even if you cannot do exactly what the person see, look at means where you can be able to adjust.
yeah,
So finally, you can see where Arnold has arrived. He knows this is the man who has traveled to Nigeria multiple times.
yeah,
The person he takes as his godfather is a Biafran. He's a Biafran. The person he referred to in all his programs, he referred to the guy as his godfather in faith. He's a Biafran. So there's nothing you can tell him that he doesn't know about. He knows these stories. He knows the histories very well. But sometimes you don't just go with you go with the flow according to what they present. Just like when Trump came with this issue of Christian genocide. And some people might get angry and say, why didn't he just talk about Biafra? There are ways to do things. You don't just go. At the end of the day, it is only a madman that will hear somebody talking about Christian genocide and you think that Biafra is left out.
mm,
It's only a madman that will think like that.
yeah.
Because in Nigeria today, when you talk about Christianity,
It's
you are
Biafra.
talking about Biafra.
Yeah,
Go to every church in Nigeria, including villages.
yeah,
If you go to the population of the church, 70% of every population are Biafran people.
yeah,
They are Biafrans. So there's no way you can detach Biafra from this. That is why when we talk about certain issues or like this Christian genocide, when you are promoting it and supporting it, speak about it openly with your mind. When that's the conversation, then discuss it. Don't detach yourself from it and say, oh, it's only when it is Biafra. If you talk about Biafra, you don't talk about Christian genocide. When you are speaking about Christian genocide, you are highlighting the issue of Biafra because that was the origin.
yeah.
I could remember when this thing was discussed. There was one man, one of these mega pastors, the one they call Matthew Ashimolowo. Matthew Ashimolowo, when he was trying to narrate the issue of Christian genocide, he started his story from Biafra, from
Exactly.
Igbos.
Yeah.
He said, then he was a victim. He himself witnessed it. He said every time it was attack on the Igbo people in the north.
In the north, yeah.
That was the origin. Every riot, that's why they call it riot. They call it riot, they call it protest.
Yeah.
And every time it is on Igbo people, on Igbo people. And when this thing have continued without anybody held accountable, without anybody convicted for it. Now see what it has generated to.
Yeah.
It is now affecting every single indigenous person in that contraption. They are affected. Nobody is exempted. Nobody is. It's not about, even now they can't even reach the Igbos because the Igbos are much more careful than ever. We have learned a very hard lesson.
Exactly.
We have learned in a very hard way. They can't reach us anymore. They can't see us to one anymore.
Yeah.
They do in those days. Me personally, I witnessed most of those riots. I lived in the north.
Okay.
I lived in the north for almost 8 years.
Yeah.
My secondary school days was in the north. That was where I did my secondary school. In Bauchi State. So during the time of the riot in Bauchi, I was in Bauchi State. During the time of Just Riot, I was in the north. When they burned our people in Samogeri, set Samogeri on fire, burned people alive. Igbos. So some of this is you are seeing today, Christian, it started long, long ago, but nobody was paying attention because it was just focused on a particular tribe.
Now it's affecting everybody.
It's affecting everybody.
You know,
and the most painful thing, and some of us are even ignorant. When we talk about this Igbo, about this Igbo, you think to a Fulani man, anybody that is from the old Southeastern region is an Igbo man.
That's to them. That's how they see it.
To them, that is how they see it.
Yeah.
Even to an extent, they hardly recognize a Yoruba man.
100%. Even
when the southern part of Nigeria, they see you as Inyamiri, an Igbo man.
When it comes to the northern part, they hardly differentiate between Yoruba and Igbo. All of you,
hardly differentiate.
But back in the south, some of the Yorubas, majority, and especially the ones that hold sway, that are in position of authority, they fail to acknowledge or accept that fact that we all have that common problem, that common singular enemy that we have to deal with. So this is the problem. That is where we all now become fed up. Since they don't want to acknowledge the fact that there are this fraction of people, about 7%, who are not even ancestrally from the place. But they come in, they've invaded, and they've taken over, and they want to take over the whole place. Ordinarily, what people are supposed to do was to put heads together. Like when Nankan was around, and the Sunday Boha and the rest of them and Akintoye, they were supposed to jointly put heads together to deal with this. But no, for them, they are looking to liaise with us on a level of lip service and liaise with the Fulanis, in a very practical and proactive way so that they will just have power between themselves back and forth. This is where I get completely disoriented with them, bro. This notion that you will be, collaborating with them just to make sure you put others in the gutter. This is what has been going on, and there is no denying it that this is their principle. This is their policy. This is their tactics. It's been going on for a long time, and that is why, for me, enough is enough. Since this is the game they want to continue to play, tomorrow they are here. Today they are here. Tomorrow they are. So they are just crazy. Well, you know what I saw also. It was also yesterday from this guy, very dark man. Bro, can you hear me? Right?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he played very dark man brought the video of the people that were kidnapped in Oyo. That woman, the principal in the of a school, and the teacher, and so and lots of children. So then the video, to be honest with you, is very touchy. There's no how you as a human being we see that video and not be moved right now. But that's not the whole of the whole. That is not the whole of the story, right? Because you see, again, everything in life is very tactical and strategic. Because I remember when they also kidnapped, I think it was either in Kwara, one of these places, the majority of the people that were kidnapped were Igbo, right? So, but nobody bring them, nobody. So the whole thing, up to now, we don't know the conclusion. We don't know how it all went down. Finally, if it has ended, and including the ones who are also Igbos that they came to their building in Abuja and they identified her to be Igbo and she was spy, stuff like that. Now, so my point is this. when Very Dark Man played that video, which really, really will touch every soul, and you'll be moved to sympathy watching those things because they already buy one of the teachers. Everybody knows that, right? So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, him himself said, Very Dark Man said that he gave 3 days. That was yesterday. He gave. He practically said 3 days. That 3 days from now, from that yesterday, if that these people are, if they are not released, yeah, that they were going to, that him and his group, he has his group, or perhaps the entire population of the country, that they should make a contribution, even if it's 1,000 naira each, whatever, right? That they should raise the money and give it to anybody who can be the go-between, the negotiator or whatever, the gumis or whatever, give them the money so that they can release them, right? So so that they will make it public for the world to know that they've settled the terrorists, that they've paid them, and the people released. Now, but my question is,
Well, that is a
I
very
mean,
ridiculous idea. That is nonsense. That thing is
is
totally
that
rubbish.
okay? Well, now, but bro, okay. So first of all, I look at the whole thing. I'm like, so basically, first of all, when you do that, let's just, for the sake of it, that you raised huge sums of money and they are released. So what do you think happens next? They goes and release other people somewhere else, right? That's that
Yes.
is that is without a doubt what happens. That is the precedence. That is what happens. So if you raise this whatever 100 million, 50, whatever you give them, they release them. They goes and they take orders from some places. And what do? You goes out, or you won't raise fund for the release of other ones that they will kidnap. Why? Because maybe they are not from the, should I say, the priority class or priority group, because these guys, they are the Yorubas, right? But would you do the same if Biafrans, or if Hausas, or if stuff like that? Would you do the same? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just asking a question. If that is a route you wanna, if that's the route you want to take and continue to raise fund, meanwhile, it's just crazy in every way you look at it. The whole idea, he's a young man. He does well sometimes, but sometimes they do the very, very stupid and unthinkable thing. Those are not solutions. Trust me, those are not solutions.
You shouldn't be saying stuff. No sensible person should be saying that kind of a thing. That is a distraction.
And that was
Hold your government accountable. Remember,
exactly.
this is not the first time they are paying ransom. The
Oh,
government have
okay.
been paying ransom.
Oh,
In the
okay.
same in the same part,
Okay.
they have paid
Yesterday.
ransom several times to release people. So
that was
when they were announcing last time, they said they talked to the terrorists and the terrorists released people. Meanwhile, they paid the ransom.
yeah. That was yesterday.
It's not the third. And you are now telling the people to go and gather money and pay. What kind of nonsense is that?
Okay. Now, this was yesterday.
In a same country, is this issue not enough to cause a revolution?
Okay.
A child of 2 years old, I mean 2 months old, is in captivity with the mother carrying her at the back.
Yeah.
The terrorists are not ghosts. They have text message. They release video almost every day. They are releasing new videos.
Yeah. In the country, in the territory,
within the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this more than 2 weeks now.
Okay.
More than 2 weeks now.
And this was
they just did video 3 days ago. They did video again released. The teachers were begging for help, begging and crying for their head.
He was
very that has military. In a sane country.
They have military, they have air force, they have police, they have navy, and you cannot go after them in your own territory. It was yesterday that Very Dark Man was saying this, and he was
go and bring their brother Asare the Kubo. It's not only in Southeast Asare the Kubo will work. Let them Asare the Kubo their boy.
Exactly. You see what I mean? So you see, that is the caveat. That is where I because again, because of how my brain works, the way my brain functions, so I don't get easily misled, because again, I touchlight every angle, and everything is circumspect when it comes to, because I've seen a lot in life, So how can you? Where do you start from? Where this whole This was yesterday, just yesterday, the very dark man was saying it, that the woman that flies was all over them because they're probably they've stayed a long time without shower, stuff like that. So that fly was just pitching all over them. Now,
it's just a distraction. That's why I don't pay
you see?
attention to it. It's a total distraction.
Okay. Yeah. So you discover that, like you said, in a normal society, in a sane society where people are serious, people are genuine, honest people, all this whole thing that's been going on is more than enough to come and shut down everything and say, this can't continue. Why do you have military? Why do you have air force? Why do you? Yeah. So, but you know what? They keep doing this settlement after settlement after settlement after settlement. And when they settle, let's just say, for since how many years now it's been going on, use your air force to go and clear up the whole place. You won't do it. Only when America comes and do one, then you come out and say that you did it together. And if they don't do, you don't do it. What does that mean? So how is it that the entirety of Nigerian military and the Air Force, that they cannot converge and go after them? How is that? How on earth? How do you explain that? So it's obvious. It's obvious without a doubt that the government and the people in the government, they are behind it. If you don't want to believe it, that's your problem. But that is just a fact that this government of today, under Tinubu and the people in it, they are the brain behind it. And also they said it, that they call them their brother, they call them their prodigal son, they call them so many things. And Shetima, who he appropriated their security to his own portfolio. He said it, that Tinubu will be in charge of economy, he will be in charge of security. Now we've seen the security in the country under him. So obviously, the conclusion that McAnod has reached now is very, very, is gladdening. I feel very gladdened with that because he has seen it all, that there's just no way, no solution. It's just sad because when this guy, though he's not in the country, I think he's either in Asia or China or whatever, this very dark man, the young man, Now, because like I said, it's only my belief or trust, it's only in God, not in any human being. I don't know what goes on in their head, that people should contribute money. To do what? Is it today that they've been settling them, they've been paying money to release people? So is that what you want to continue to do?
Reject himself.
So for him to say that, he just lent credence to why we circumspect everything. We have to continue, because the signs they show, the things they do, it doesn't seem to me like they're genuine. It doesn't seem to me like they're serious. What they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. They are not. No sensible person will do such.
So
will say such a thing.
Yeah. So even the one who bear the name tag Christopher Musa, he said, he was a few days ago saying that. I'm telling you. Yeah, exactly. You see? So how do you explain to anybody that the security in the country is okay or is going well or blah blah blah? How does that work when the whole world sees what goes on in the country? And the one whom they say is the president, he doesn't even care. He doesn't care. Or what the politicians, what they're doing is election next year. That's everything that occupies their mind, nothing else. So it's just terrible. It's terrible. Oh, there you go, my brother.
Do you know that these idiots, they went and issued a statement that they banned churches from holding Biafra Memorial Service? That is
Which who?
The Nigerian military now, their spokesperson.
Okay.
People that cannot fight Boko Haram.
Yeah. You see the thing?
Biafrans that are doing their Remembrance Day, that they know, because Mostabu issued a statement that said that people should pray in their churches for the remembrance of the heroes. And they issued a statement and said that no, it's illegal to pray for Biafran heroes in the churches.
Okay. So, But so to pray a prayer and whatever thing you need to hold in memory of, the lost ones is what it troubles them. But the fact that the terrorists have taken over the entire,
That's what it
territory.
doesn't bother them. That's
It
what it
doesn't
doesn't
bother
bother them.
it doesn't bother them. All what the Nigerian military and Nigerian government, what they are concerned about is to shut people down, disarm the people, make them vulnerable, and make them a walk in the park for the terrorists. When they come to take over your place, buy you, and overwhelm you, it makes it easier for them to. So this is that has been the whole plan for a long time now, to make sure nobody is able to put up defense against the Islamic terrorists. That has been going on with the Nigerian government from Buhari. The past decade is been in the works to make sure that they silence you. We even see when they were fighting alongside the terrorists as against the indigenous people in their land.
Yes,
They
they do it
prevented.
also. They do it all the time.
You see? So obviously, this is the battle that we have on our hand. Is a battle against Nigerian government, against the terrorism in Nigeria, against the politicians who are all working, in coordination to make sure that everybody is brought under Sharia subjugation. That is what it's all about. Nothing but that is just what it is. So, and I'm hoping that the United States government, under this very current president, understand that, hopefully, wholesomely, that this is the battle we all have in our hand. It's not just the Islamic terror, but the government of the day, because they are the same. They are working together with the terrorists. But I'm happy that Mike Anno understand that 100%. He has, because he's calling for, he's calling for this government to be reprimanded. That is what he's calling for, that because he knows he has seen without a doubt that the government is complicit. I don't know how anybody can say otherwise. I just don't know how anybody can say anything different from that, because they are part of it. Before Tinubu came, he had these discussions with them, with the caliphate. They agreed on it. And the agreement is agreement. That is why he doesn't show that effort that is like proactive. He doesn't. And all the people he got, the ministers, the chief of defense staff, and the minister of defense, they are all playing along. They are just playing along, because the one who
All
is
of that.
the chief of staff, the chief of military, whatever they call him, is the one who said that they are prodigal sons. That people who are chopping up people's head, people who are buying people here and there, that they are prodigal sons. You ask yourself, what kind of comparison is that? How do you compare prodigal son in the Bible, right, and with the people who are committing this level of genocide?
The minister
So,
of defense, when Musta, if you know what he told the troops,
mm,
they should be praying hard. They should have prayer.
you see, yeah, yeah,
He told them to involve themselves in prayers. They should
yeah.
be involving fasting and prayer in everything.
Bro, if Tinubu if Tinubu was not, if Tinubu wasn't complicit, if Tinubu's government wasn't complicit in the terrorism going on in Nigeria, he would have sacked that chief of military defense, whatever, that the head of the military would have sacked him. The national, the defense minister would have been sacked. The national security advisor, because they came out to make outrageous statement that indict them 100% in the terror.
100%.
So, but because he is part of it, he just look away. He just pretend as if it means nothing, but it means a lot. It means a lot for national security advisor to be the one, giving arms to the armed bandits. What does that tell you? Then for the one who is in charge of the whole military to come out and describe this killer squad, people who are just committing unimaginable level of atrocity, to come out and describe them as prodigal children, making comparison to that in the Bible, and for even the one who is the minister of defense Musa to come out and say again this thing he said, and the president does nothing about it. He didn't. Oh, bro, I don't know. I'm more with him and they in Nigeria, because for them not to know that, yeah, they fire the bomb for their head. It's crazy, crazy. Oh, there.
It is really painful. It is so painful. Sometimes when you look at the issue, you don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
You don't. It is so. You see, that is why I'm the only thing that is holding that country down is for Trump to focus on Nigeria.
Yes.
This case of Iran, anytime the mission starts, you see what's happened to Arnold. You see how Arnold started. And when he got into the issue, he found out by himself that it is only disintegration that will solve the problem. This same thing is what Trump is going to find out when they come into this issue.
Bro, you hit the nail.
And these people will never stop. They are the one that will pronounce it. They will pronounce that. It will come out from their mouth.
Bro, Rajus, you hit the nail on his head. Because, you know, again, if you remember also from the beginning, I was praying and I was just hoping that what happened doesn't happen, but it happened anyway when this Iran issue came up. So that became there was distraction, So aside that, by now they would have seen with their own eyes that there's only one solution. That is the de-amalgamation, disintegration, whatever you want to call it, because the government of the day is as complicit as my brother. So the government of the day under this Tinubu, just like the one before, the previous one, they are just as complicit. So how can you, it doesn't make sense to say you are working with the government to do this and do that, because they are sabotaging you, they will sabotage it. That's a fact. So obviously, if you look at Mike Arnold now, initially he was different, but now because he has really concentrated so much, and he has seen where the dot is. He has seen it. That's why he has come to this conclusion now. So obviously, like you just said, by the time Trump focused 100% on solving it, like he has ordered the Secretary of War now, Pete Hegseth, to look into it. So by the time he focus on it, then he will find out sooner or later that, hey, this thing not be my yo. This it not be something to play with Kid Global. You have to come there and do the right thing. And what makes it all the more,
and if they do the right thing, it will not cost them anything. It will not cost them bringing their true money. It will not cost them spending money.
Oh, it will not.
You don't need to spend your weapons or whatever.
Or life or lose. Yeah, because it's one can, because I'm very much into this thing, so I see what goes on, right? So you will not lose even one soul, either of Americans. You won't even lose, even the money will not, because you just word of mouth, like I always say, just say it that look, this is not working. It's unworkable.
Take action and do what they will. Every religion can defend themselves. The Yoruba can protect themselves. The Middle can protect themselves. The Southeast can protect themselves.
Yeah,
the North can protect themselves.
100%, because that's what
this declaration is made. Let me tell you, I will start people who chase these idiots away.
100%.
It is 100%. Holding them, making them helpless. Everybody handicapped.
Yeah, I've always said it, bro. That Nigeria, this one Nigeria, whatever, is that umbrella, right? That is making everybody stupid and lazy and ineffective or inefficient. That is just that one Nigeria. If everybody goes their way, and now go chintin, so you have to do what you have to do. You
can just imagine terrorists from the north holding a child and a baby in the forest. In
Yoruba land.
You have one like Igbo was the Igbo he used to be. In your own region now, not that you come and hold your citizens captive.
Yeah.
So they come pay ransom.
Yeah.
And I go sit down, they argue.
Yeah.
Just imagine. It's not the first time, not the second time, not the third time. And the worst thing, this one is not during the time of Jonathan. the cheapest gear that made them to drive Jonathan, none of those gears lost their life in the course of the
Okay.
production.
Yeah.
They were all safe.
Yeah.
But in this one, they kidnap and they will cut off person's head and show you the video.
Yeah.
You can imagine how bad it is.
And all these Yoruba pastors, Adeboye and the rest of them, and the Kumi and the rest of them, just to mention a few, they don't come out to carry the coffin of Tinubu that he has to leave. They won't do that. You see?
I saw a video that one of the members of Redeemed Men, he said they were organizing a mass protest for those people who are abducted, because most of them are Christians. That's people who are teachers and children. The church, entire church, would organize a protest only to get a call from Adeboye and say it's cancelled.
Okay.
They said that Tinubu wife is her pastor, called him and talked to him, and then they canceled the protest.
Bro, are you kidding me?
I saw it in Yoruba. A member of their church was saying he was even speaking in Yoruba and translating in English.
Jesus.
I couldn't be able to bring it. I will bring it and play it now. You see it.
Hey, God Almighty.
Members of their church, they have gathered to conduct the protest. After rallying around, informing everybody, just a day to that protest, they say their general overseer say the protest is cancelled.
Yeah. Wow. So then you begin to wonder, what do they believe in? What does Adeboye and what do they care in life? I don't know what drives them. I'm just wondering, right? Because, like we've just said, they did it during Jonathan, and it was not even as egregious as it is now, because some people, so they did it anyway and drove Jonathan. Everybody, they all came against him and drove him out, but they are unwilling to do it to Tinubu, who is the most illegitimate. And so you begin to wonder there. So what is going on? What exactly is going on? If these Yoruba pastors and all these men of God and the rest of them, there's so many of them I've just forgotten. There's one from Lateran who contested as vice to Buhari in one of those times. I'm trying to remember his name.
That one has disappeared completely. That idiot.
So Tunde Bakari, yes. He was one of those very forceful, agent that came out against Jonathan back then. But now nobody hears from him again. And to think that what you just said now, that they tried to organize it and the GO came and canceled it. So obviously, so you will now turn around and ask me to come and contribute money like VDM is saying. That don't make sense. That don't make sense one bit, So, and it just terrible situation, my brother. How do you go now?
It's a very sad situation. Mazen Nani kind of warned them and told them that the python you are feeding is going to swallow you, and they're swallowing them.
Yeah.
They never learned their lesson. They didn't even learn anything from Afonja. They didn't learn anything from Afonja. Afonja, who went into a contract thinking that it's going to favor him. At the end of the day, they lost a running. And today, the same thing is what they are repeating.
Last summer, the British
They are repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
They are repeating just the same thing. It's sad. But for we, the Biafrans, we must continue to pursue what we are pursuing. Our remembrance of our heroes must continue. You can imagine the military very quick to issue a statement and say that the Biafrans should not come. Let me bring it in. Sahara reporter reported it. What the military gave order that we should not have to have prayer for this is illegal. You can imagine a country. It is so sad.
Yeah.
It is so sad. But we know at the end of the day, everybody will answer his father's name.
Exactly.
Everybody will answer his father.
Yeah, that that is my sincere prayer that they can wrap up with it so that America can look into this situation. And it's also a good thing to know that he has at least two more years. And, I mean, obviously, next year will be a watershed moment in the history of the country, this do call Nigeria. So, and this Republican government under President Trump will still be around to see how, but obviously before then, I'm sure that a lot more is going to be happening because there's need to redouble or refocus on what has been declared, so that they can decide what they want to do. If this Sharia proponent, they can go very easily go ahead and have their own country, have their own Sharia Islamic country. That is what my cannot said yesterday that I had, which is which is good. So obviously, but there are people who, because for me personally, I've always known what it's all about. There are those who continue to hide under that umbrella of one Nigeria for whatever reason, whatever reason. But we are not ready for that. We will not continue to be in it. We never. So anybody who wants to continue can continue with them.
Of course. Anybody who wants to be with them should continue.
Yeah. Simple. The Yorubas, why it may not be all of them 100%, but quite a large number of them, they have affiliation with these jihadists. They seem to they have there's that inclination, so they can as well, be with them and form one country. But we can't be in it. We're out of it. We want to live like normal people with rule of law, with organized society. So for them, they can continue because this one leg here. Today you say one thing, tomorrow you say another, all in the name of just playing games all around, including the professors among them who ordinarily you think they should have something in their brain and have some level of integrity or dignity.